very welcome to this Monday edition of the Man United Agenda. It is, of course, Monday, and we haven't even begun to start the week, and there's more speculation, more links. I think this is link number 137 of this particular summer transfer window for Manchester United. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of today's stories in the newspapers, I want to welcome stalwarts, Mr. B and Yabberforth. Gentlemen, how are we?
I'm good, man. I mean, I'm enjoying the heat. Ish. I say ish. I'm glad it's here, but yeah, it's been a hot one. It's been a hot one today.
Yeah, it certainly has. It's really hot here in the UK, especially down south in London. But I did hear in Scotland it was raining, and in Northern Ireland it was raining as well. So I don't know if it's like that in the Republic of Ireland. What the weather's been like over there, I'm not sure.
Partially cloudy, mainly dry, but then 100 kilometres down the road it was raining. So we have microclimates here in the Republic of Ireland. But I suppose we got to be thankful that we're not as scorcho as the Spanish, because they're after reaching 46 degrees.
Oh wow, amazing!
What can you do in 46 degrees, man?
You know something about Spain, like it's lovely and hot. I mean, I've got two friends right now. One's in Greece, and it looks wicked out there. Same temperature, 38, 40 degrees. The sky is just blue, clear blue, and it's just roasting hot. It was like 6 a.m. and it was like 35 degrees or something like that. Really lovely and lush. But in Spain, it's so... you don't realize, unless you're by the beach, everything's barren and dried out. There's not much vegetation necessarily. It's just dry. The sun is just slowly making the landscape really, really dry and not very attractive to look at. So, England has its weather issues, everything, and it does change the way you play football. For example, I mean, if we were hot like this, we would be playing a slower tempo. Don't you think, Mr. B?
I wouldn't even want to be standing up in this. You can't even moan at your players if they don't run anywhere in this. It's too hot. Sports-wise, I think it's too hot to do a lot of things, to be fair. Tennis, obviously, Wimbledon started today.
Yeah.
I don't care for tennis, to be honest, but I know it must be painful playing 5 sets in this. So, they're going to earn their money. They're going to earn their money like we all have to, I suppose.
Can I just say, I mean, look, there's a lot of tournaments going on right now, the World Club Championships as well. Maybe we'll talk about that. But I just want to say well done to Lee Carsley and the England squad. They've doubled up now. They won the Euros again, under 21 Euros again. Sensational performance from beating Spain, from beating Holland, slowly getting better in the tournament. And then that fabulous game against Germany in the final. Went 2-0 up. They come back 2-1 for half time, went to extra time. And then, they scored a winner in extra time.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched it. I've been watching.
Any Man United players playing?
No Man United players, unfortunately. But you have to say that it is a development for England. You can see now, after all these years, whether it's St. George's, you know about St. George's, don't you, Mr. B? You've been there.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you could tell us, St. George's and all these schemes they've been doing to make England better as a nation. We're seeing the results now. Under 19s, under 17s. 2 times under 21.
But they're not winning the big. Yeah, but they're not winning the big one. They've been close, but until they win the big one, then it doesn't matter. So, fair play. They've improved, but right now they're like Arsenal, aren't they? They're just nearly there. It gets to the stage where look, they got rid of Southgate. They've got Tuchel in. I'm not sure Tuchel's going to be the one. Maybe it'll be Carsley. Maybe Carsley will be the one, because he knows the players and the history of the players. Maybe he'll be the one, because I know that Argentina, the coach was promoted to under 21s. The Spanish coach promoted from the under 21. So maybe that's the. I mean, look, even Southgate, to be fair, he was promoted from the under 21s. As much as everybody does want to cuss him and say that we shouldn't be knighted and blah blah blah. That's not my opinion. But football wise, he got them closer than they've ever got. Well, they've got since 1966. 2 years in a row or 3 years in a row. So they've got the players. It's probably is down to the management side of it now in regards to tweaking and Tuchel's. I think Tuchel's perfect for them if he gets the squad right, just because he's been there, seen it, done it, won a lot of things. and seen a lot of things. So, you know, maybe he sees things, you know, that with experience, you see things before they're going to happen as well. So, they've got a good chance. They do have a good chance, but you know, in international football, I've spoken this for the last 3 minutes. I hate it. I actually hate international football. And when there's no Man United players, it makes me going to watch it even less.
Yeah. You know, sorry, there's a pathway, isn't there? Lee Carsey was talking about this, a pathway for the young players. We've seen like with Gordon a couple of years ago, he's now in the senior squad. And now you look at the squad, England under 21s now, how many of them players can make their way, the pathway transitions, which is the system they're using to get them into the senior squad as well. It's interesting to see. And then you say about the pathway for players, well, what about the manager then? Like you said, you mentioned Argentine manager, Spanish manager, that seems the way it'd be the progression as well. We've seen it on the Man United agenda. I picked up a rebel from TikTok, you know, and gave him pathway to hosting shows and leading running the channel right now, you know. So it happens a lot, and we see. I've been successful with Rebel, and hopefully Lee Carsley would do the same with England.
Can I just actually mention a useless fact for the day, because there was a historic moment at Wimbledon, seeing as you mentioned it. For the first time ever, there has been no line judges. AI robots have taken over that facility at Wimbledon.
The line judges are the one that stand at the back of the court and put their hand up, right?
Yeah, they're gone.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
Wow. Someone's out of a job then.
Bloody hell.
Ball boys, yeah.
Well, the ball boys will be all right because they're still going to have to return the balls, I suppose. But okay, fair enough.
Can I also just give a special mention to Simon? He's just coming back from visiting his mother in hospital. I hope all is well with her and that she makes a full recovery. So, thought to you there, Simon. And I also want to shout out one of our colleagues from another channel, the Silver Fox. Hope you're doing well, brother, and get better soon as well. But let's get into some quick comments before we move into the main topic. Hello to Bilal. This is actually an interesting one from Bart that I want to come back to actually in our AOB wrap-up about overpaying for a player in a one-horse race. So I'm going to mark that to come back to. Thanks for your comment, Bart. Let's see, what do we hear? We had a newbie. Or either that or I don't recognize the at. Evening panel, you're my companion on the ride home. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, it's probably because for some reason we're seeing your at instead of your name.
What? Somebody please explain to me why have YouTube changed what they were doing from before? It just confuses us now. I mean, to be fair, Stephanie Griffiths is the same. I can't see up down thing.
Actually, we do have to give Stephanie her mod powers back. She's after losing her other account, so we need to hook her up.
Okay, no problem. I did see a conversation there. Red Paddy. I mean, it's confusing. I don't know who's who. Is that Alan? Oh, look, we'll work it out. Look, we'll have to get used to your names again, guys. Sorry about that, Robert, for cutting you off.
FGS and Column, at the rate of pace, Manchester United will sign 4 new players in the window on the last day. They will be Rebel. Yeah, Mr. B and Excellent. And yeah, that is Alan, by the way. So
yeah.
Please do like, share, and subscribe. We are on the road to 4K. Those of you over on the X/Twitterverse, if you do want to take a moment to hop on over to YouTube, give us a subscribe. Even if you continue to watch us via X, we do appreciate the subscribes on the road to 4K, but we hope you will join us in YouTube. But let's get into the meat of today's story. Player number 999 that Manchester United have been linked with in the summer window is one Ollie Watkins of the parish of Aston Villa. Now, Aston Villa have done some financial trickery magic this morning in that they've sold their women's team to a connected party to obviously
have
they have, yeah.
They did a Chelsea.
They've done a Chelsea, the Villa have, with their women's team.
Oh, wow.
What do you mean by that? I don't understand. What have they done?
They sold it to themselves.
They basically sold the women's team to themselves, but it's under a different company name, essentially.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was like, what? No. But we obviously have been linked with Martinez, their goalkeeper, recently. But it's not Martinez today. It is one Ollie Watkins. Now, this story was broken by Laurie Whitwell of The Athletic. Ollie Watkins is on Manchester United's list of potential centre forward recruitment to be recruited in the event that Rasmus Højlund leaves the club. At this stage, a check call on Watkins is the extent of dialogue. In other words, hello, is Mr. Watkins available? I'd imagine is the extent of that conversation. With Villa having been looking to see which of their players might attract significant money, including Emilio Martinez, any movement is only expected as the window progresses. Now, I dug out some key stats for you. Watkins has 75 goals in 184 games for Villa in the Premier League. It's roughly averaging at about 15 goals per Premier League campaign. He does, however, turn 30 this December. His market value is believed to be 40 million euros per transfermarket.com. His current contract is 130,000 per week. And last season, he was out 66 days with injury, missing just 3 games. But one of the tabloids has suggested that Villa want £60 million for the services of Mr. Ollie Watkins. I'll let you decide which one of you want to have a nibble first.
I'll go. I've already bitten. I don't see this one happening. Rebel. 60 million for one, even at 40 million, I still wouldn't see it happening. You got to remember, what's their manager's name at Villa?
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Yeah, he actually played Rashford ahead of Watkins until Watkins actually came out on the TV interview and said he was disappointed that he wasn't playing. Yeah. He was disappointed, but is Rashford a better player than Ollie Watkins? I mean, I would have taken Ollie Watkins. I thought Rashford's a better player on the left, but he insisted on playing him through the centre. So, I don't see this one happening. I mean, it was if -9 leaves, he's leaving. There's no way that he can start the club next season. You know what games are you going to play him in? So, I would like to think it maybe there was an inquiry, but at 60 million, I wouldn't like to think that there's going to be any traction in the one at all.
Interesting, this news coming out. You look at Villa; they've just got rid of Duran, didn't they, a couple of years ago, or last season? He was a top striker, and now they want to get rid of Watkins as well. Must be really bad times for them. I feel sorry for them in a way because they were so close to getting the Champions League. I think they were robbed, weren't they?
They weren't robbed. We beat them.
I was also beating them. Oh, yeah. But then did Martinez do some stupidness and affect them as well? So that shows you the extent of the issues that they're having to sell. They're not getting Champions League money, you know, that sort of thing. They were in pole position for a long period. They're a very good side, very physical side, very strong side. And Ollie Watkins is the figurehead of that side. Coming up, good signing, bought him for 25, 30 million from Brentford when Brentford were in the Championship, taking a risk. And he's proven to be a top Premiership player and probably number 2 behind Harry Kane for England as well. Strong runner. We've seen him against Man United, very physical, comes off the ball. You can't bounce him. He's very strong. You can't waste him at all. He's quick. He runs into channels. He gets on the end of things. He can score with his head. He scores with his feet. You know, he's just all-round, no frills, solid, good athletic player. And I think when you think of the Premiership, you know, for strikers, and he's one of the top strikers in the Premier League, I don't think he's one of the best that I've seen of all time. Andy Cole and all these guys from the past, I think, had a bit more to their game. But in this era, with the strong run and the physicality that he has, he'd be a good fit for us. And I would think if all else fails, I think that would be a good option, even though he's 30 years old, as someone who could do really well in our side and guaranteed to get 10, 15 goals a season. So I'll be all for it.
Would you take him over Mateta?
Yes.
Okay.
Better player, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rebel, would you take him over Mateta?
Do you know, I think for some reason, I think Mateta would probably link with Mbuemo and Cunha better.
Yeah.
Like, Can I just point out as well, just some stats for -9. In 32 Premier League appearances, 4 goals. So, in reality, whether it's Mateta or Watkins or whoever from the Premier League, like 4 goals is a low base.
You can only get 4 lower.
Exactly. Like, Dominic bloody Calvert-Lewin, for the limited time that he'd be fit, would probably get more than bloody 4 goals.
Oh God! But I mean, as long as we're not linked to Calvert-Lewin, honestly, I don't want there to be any conversations, any talks are ongoing. United are monitoring his situation. Nothing. I'm not interested in him. He's been injured for like 3 years, wherever he's been. Now, can you imagine? Oh, that would kill us.
Here's the situation, though, Mr. B.
Mm.
We've been returned to sender FC with our loans last year. Anthony returned to sender.
Yeah, but he's. To be fair, I think that Anthony one's only a matter of time. I think they'll sort out something to get Anthony gone.
Rashford returned to sender.
Well, he only wants to go Barcelona.
Sancho returned to center. Malacia returned to sender.
Oh yeah, I mean the thing with Malacia, he's not on a lot of money, and we didn't pay much for him. We've had him for 2 years. I mean, to break, what do we spend? What do we pay for Malacia? 12 million?
50 million, yeah.
I mean, look, if we sell him for 5 million, we get our money back. Somebody will take him for 5 million. It's just how greedy the club actually want to be. He's got no future at the club. All right, maybe the fact that he was out for a year, you always need time to get yourself back in. But they bombed him out early, and PSV have bombed him out straight away. So, look, hopefully his agent will do his job and give him some playing time somewhere.
Here's the thing for me, though, Mr. B, and this is a consideration that I want both of you to kind of come back with me on your responses in. We have all these players who have literally been told you have no future at Manchester United Football Club. There's a couple of more that it's suggested aren't system fit for Ruben Amorim, aka Harry Maguire, Bruno Fernandes, by a post that I saw yesterday. But
Harry Maguire's a fit.
But here's the thing, right? If we can't move these players, and Ineos and the Glazers are determined that we need to move out squad numbers in order to bring in squad numbers, and we don't generate that transfer pot that we want, could you actually see our club going to those free agencies, those Jonathan Davids, those Dominic Calvert-Lewins, to pick up a cheap acquisition?
Yeah, but you can have this one.
Look, that has been last resort, and it would be disappointing if we had to go down that road. When you look at the free acquisitions, Jonathan David is the one you mentioned, who's probably the best fit because of his age, and but there's also a question mark about him whether he can do it outside of the French league. I think he was played in Belgium for Anderlecht before that, or Genk. No, it was Genk, one of the Genk sides. He played for them and produced some goods, and then he came to France, played football there, and produced some goods. But it's very hard to gauge how good he is, And when you consider no way he can run his contract down, he's still not really been signed up from anybody. So that just suggests to me maybe these free agents aren't.
I think he's on his way to Is he on his way to Italy?
That's the rumor, isn't it? The rumor. But when you talk about Dominic Calvert-Lewin, he's a good player, He is a good player, good striker. But the only issue with him has been consistency with his fitness. He always breaks down. So he, after 9 years or whatever it was at Everton, he had his highs. His highs was breaking into the England squad. And then his lows have been like major injuries time and time again, just breaking down over and over again. Would you really want to take a risk on someone like that? I think that when you weigh it up, can he do it at his best? Yeah, he'd be a really good signing for us. But for what we need, physicality, hold up play, link up, he's a good player. He can score with his head as well. A real old school sort of striker, get a real handful. You talk about Mateta. He could do a similar job to what Mateta does, in my opinion. With his physicality. But there's a question mark. So for him to be going free, I can imagine him going abroad somewhere and trying to sort of get some games in the French league or somewhere else. You know, I just don't see.
He'll go Turkey.
Yeah. That's a good shout, Mr. B. So yeah, I hear what you're saying, Rebel. But ideally, I don't think it's crisis point yet. But we have to look at every scenario, don't we, at this channel? And I think that is a long way down the road. I don't even want to be thinking about that yet. We've still got a lot of players, like you said, with Malacia. I know PSV don't want to take him on, but he's an international for Dutch international. He'd get picked up. I'm sure he will. Leon wanted him before. They won't be wanting him again because they'd get relegated. But, you know, do you see what I'm saying? There is something. There will be some interest there. It's just, you know what the transfer market's like. All it takes is like a domino effect. One sign has been made here, and then someone else will come in and start saying, right, we want you guys. This is why it always ends up happening at the end of the window, because everyone's too concerned to take that risk.
Is this Jonathan David? Or Calvert-Lewin?
Calvert-Lewin.
He's injured all the time. I mean, those 3 goals in 20.
So you wouldn't. So you wouldn't just so I'm clear, you wouldn't take Calvert-Lewin at Man United, would you?
Look, if it got down to it, and like Rebel was saying, Rebel posed the question to me, would we consider it if it got down to it last minute, midnight, like 10 to midnight on the last day of the window, and we were looking for options? You'd have to consider him. But the thing is, we have to manage his injury thing. Whatever's wrong with him, the reason he keeps breaking down over time, that needs to be managed. Whoever takes him on will say, let's look at this injury record. What's going on with you? How come a professional club like Everton couldn't keep you fit? Why couldn't they keep him fit? Were they rushing him back too often?
He's going to come to us.
What the problem is? Real Madrid did the same job with Varane. He had issues with injuries. Real Madrid really looked at him. They had the money, the resources to look at him.
They gave him to us.
Manage him, and they kept him fit and managed to kept him on a sort of special program to keep him playing games. That's the main thing. Look what happened with Paul McGrath and Ledley King. They never trained because the clubs were smart enough to say, all right, to get the best out of them, let's have a little program for them just to get them playing games. As simple as that. So if it comes down to Dominic Llewellyn, I'm not saying I want him, but I'm just saying this. Don't forget, he is a good player.
But the answer is not. So I just wanted a yes or no. Would you take Dominic Calvert-Lewin?
Yes, I would. Yeah, I would.
Wow.
Okay. Unbelievable.
Mr. B, let's just talk about how we become notoriously kind of referenced as the club that travels with a Zimmer frame in the transfer market lately in the summer, because we've been lastminute.com a lot of the time and kind of procrastinating over transfers. Obviously, we know we got Cunha across the line. That's done. That's over now. And the excuse we've been given for the last 4 or 5 weeks is, oh, we need to get the new fiscal year. Guess what? That's tomorrow. So now that excuse exits the building. There's no more excuse for not finalising transfers because we're in the new fiscal year and that comes against next year, the new set of accounts. So we saw today that in Mbeumo, that the owner, I think our chief executive, I can't remember which one of them was, done an interview and said there is a scenario where Mbeumo remains a Brentford player next year. I imagine that's a tactic to squeeze out that last few sets of conditions, but I want to return to Bart's question. We're the only ones bidding, yet we are being dictated by a club maybe with what, 25% of the history of us? How they want the transfer to go. Like,
so
I don't see any other club dealing with the nonsense that we're dealing with in this window.
It's their player. At the end of the day, it's their player. You know, they've laid down the terms. Yeah, they want 60 million. We offered them 55, regardless of what the 7.5 million was. If we offered them 60, we would have got the player already. There's a price that they want, and there's a price that they expect us to pay. Now, United, like we do all the time, Harry Maguire, 85 million. 6 weeks later, we're still waiting. Come the time when we went to sign him, 85 million. Even Agate last year, same thing again. When we bought him, we paid the price that PSG wanted to pay. So either they didn't have the full 60 million, because guaranteed within the next 2 days, the third bid will be exactly what Brentford wanted. Now, did they not want to pay him his wages for the month? This is what I'm convinced that some clubs don't buy players. They don't want to pay them the month that that they come in with. They're not playing football, but we're going to sit down on Marcus Rashford's 350, Jadon Sancho's 250, Garnacho's 50. Maybe they need to prioritize getting the new players in and the older players out quicker. But we are being held to ransom with the 4 players that you did talk about, Rebel. But they'll go. They'll go. Do what Chelsea do. You're not playing Sterling. They took Sterling's number from him and said to him, find the club. Find the club. We'll pay you half your money. Fine. They have to be strong. All of this politically correct stuff. Chelsea don't give a shit. When it comes to them not wanting players, they don't care. So hopefully United will get some balls this. Rafa's on 350 and he wants to go Barcelona. Fine. Wait for Barcelona to strike the deal that Man United want, or you don't play. Don't let him poison the reserves. Don't let him play. Sancho. Don't let him anywhere near the club. Garnacho. Don't let him anywhere near the club. Let them know that they don't take the shirt numbers away from them. Then they know they're not playing. They go on the tour. They can have whatever shirt number they want on tour. It doesn't really make no difference. As a support, if you're stupid enough to buy a Cunha shirt with whatever number he plays on tour, got to understand, Rashford's leaving. He's going to take a 10. So wait. Just wait to get the shirt numbers that you want. I'm still convinced they're all going to go. It might not be on the terms that United want, but I still think they'll go.
The problem is we're having difficulty getting rid of players, and you can't. I don't think we should be pointing fingers and saying it's a big issue with the management of the club. They're not doing their job correctly. I just think it's a case that we've got some players there that's hard to let go, especially when you come in 16th in the league and they're soiled with a bad reputation and they're on big wages as well. It's difficult to let go of these players. Who really, in their right mind, wants Anthony, wants Rashford, wants Sancho with their reputations that they come with? They come with problems, And we're talking about Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He'd probably get a better deal with his injury record than some of these guys with a tarnished reputation that we've got in the club. So it's going to be difficult to get rid of these guys. I don't think it's a case that we're not trying. We are trying to get rid of them. We are trying to look for deals for them. And the same applies with players coming in. In Mbeumo, as Mr. B said, rightly so, I was nodding like that insurance dog. Agreeing so much that you're so right, Mr. B. It's a case. They said what the target price is. We haven't reached that price. Until we tick that box, there's no deal to be done. So maybe we just hold it out, waiting, because you don't want to sort of take that deal and buy it all out when you've got a strategy, a plan, say, right, we need to cut back here just in case. So if they go out and say, right, let's get him Mbeumo, what's the rush? He wants to come. It's probably said over the phone or, unspoken word is he's coming, but there's no rush to do it if say the man's coming.
Yeah,
people
but
say,
we
want
need
him now. The man in the club aren't.
But we do want him for pre-season, though. We do want him walking on the 7th of July.
I hear you with that. But give it a couple weeks, Grace, because
not weeks. Oh, it's just
2 weeks.
Just days. No,
just
2 days.
Yeah,
no, 2
close.
days.
That deal was
I want
very
2
close.
days. I know it's close, but 2 days.
In the meantime, we have to wait for other deals to go out. Like I said, it's one in, one out.
But you think? I mean, the thing is, if we had bid the money, he would have been there already, and that's what I'm saying. I think if they had accepted the deal, 55 mil, whatever the deal we tried to pay, he would have been our player and come. So I just want him. Don't take 2 weeks because then he's already missed a week of pre-season. I want him the first day, so he knows exactly. They've got the.
So where's the finger of blame here? This is my point. What I'm asking.
You mentioned not to blame the management, and when I talk about the management, I talk about the executives and those that are giving out contracts and that are involved in the bidding process. You have to blame them because it's clear that they were absolutely negligent. When you look at the Anthony deal in isolation, we're getting stories out now in the media that the go-no-go point for Ten Hag was 30 million. They overshot it by not twice it, but nearly 1.5 times it. So, that's incompetence. You look now at Sancho, Rashford, in particular, with their contracts. That was incompetence. We took them from whatever their base rate was before they arrived at Manchester United, and we gave them absolutely imaginative Willy Wonka type contracts where they were plucking gold figs out of their keisters by the end of it. When you look at what Manchester United done, they're at a point now that they're so deluded with the contract that they were given by the absolute mumpies that gave it to them, that they haven't been able to come back down to reality, join us on planet Earth, and see what is a realistic market value for a player their caliber. Marcus Rashford is on twice what the top earner at Newcastle's on. And if he was going to a club comparable in size, there's no way in hell he's ever getting anywhere near 300.
Yeah, but you can't. Yeah, but you can't blame the players for that. See, this is the problem, Rebel. Everybody's cussing Marcus. Granted, we want him out of the club, but he asked for some money, and they were stupid enough to give it to him, and now they don't want him. Why should he walk away? And this, I want Mark. I want all of them gone, but it's a club's mistake.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mr. B. But here's what the issue is: not coming to an agreement with settlement with Marcus. It's when we accept a bid from Joe Bloggs FC that he needs to be realistic and realise that the contract that he got from Manchester United is not a realistic attainment at his new club.
It is, but that's why he said he'll take a pay cut if he goes to Barcelona. He's already said anybody who leaves Man United, what's the first thing they say? I'll take a pay cut. Because they already know. We paid them the most money they were ever. Jadon Sancho, all right, Jadon Sancho's not going to take a pay cut, but virtually everybody else will take a pay cut to leave. You know, you've got Anthony take 30%. I couldn't lose a third of my money. You know, 30% is a lot of money to say that you're going to want to lose, you know?
I think I asked the question, who's the finger of blame at? And Rebel, you've said that it's the people representing the transfers and ins and outs and that kind of thing. But you gave an example of something that happened a couple of years ago with the signings like Anthony and those guys. And rightly so, we did pay over the odds for them at that time, which is about 2-3 years ago now. I'm talking about now, like this window. We're talking Bremo deal. We want to get it over. I don't think we can really.
Thank you.
Big up, Rebecca. How you doing? Check out Yabba Forbes on TikTok. I am a legend on TikTok. Anyway, I don't think we can really sort of point the finger at the moment because they're trying to fix the issues that they've created. You know, granted, we agree. I agree with you, Rebel. They did make mistakes by buying these guys and giving them big wages. And like we said, trying to get rid of them now is difficult. But we got to work to try to solve this problem and get rid of them. And it's going to take baby steps to get that done. And I think they're doing their best to do it. I think sometimes you say to yourself, is it harder to get players in or is it harder to get rid of players? Now, at Man United, it's hard to get rid of them because they're digging their heels in. They're really digging their heels and they don't want to leave because they get paid big money. And it's always a down, where unless you go Barcelona, Real Madrid, or one of these big European clubs, you know, it's always a back step. You're going down a level. And I think so. It's hard when you're trying to get rid of these guys, knowing that they got agents, that they got contracts and all these kind of things. So I wouldn't put the blame on them just yet. It's not apparent to me what I'm saying to you, Rebel. It's not apparent to me that the management are to blame for this. What is clear, these guys clearly are wanted out of the club, and that's good enough for me. It's just a case of how you go about your business now, getting them out. But first of all, I just want to, hopefully by the end of this week, that Bremo deal will be done. And by all accounts, it seems to me, like from the media that we've been discussing in our group chat and all that, it is a sort of done deal. He's agreed to it. It's just a case of just getting the deal over the line, and then we can move on to the next person who that will be coming in. But there's so many. I mean, we've had players leave like Lindelof, Eriksson, Evans as well. I forgot about Malacia. He was mentioned.
Talk about Evans. We got to talk about Evans before we go.
Before we do that, though, I do need to say that we're very humbled and thankful for the 235 people viewing us overall, 162 of which are joining us live on the YouTube at the moment. We do appreciate it greatly. We are on the road to 4K. If we get there before the start of the season, 4,000 subscriptions, we will be giving away a Man United jersey. All you need to do is hit that subscribe button. It's totally free. And if you don't mind, give us a quick like on today's video because we are very humbled and appreciative of you all joining us. I just want to say hello to Rebecca as well. She said she loves your reggae music, Yabba. Wildlife Machines in the building as well. This one, salaries are not an issue. If the players are good enough, we wouldn't care what we're paying them. I suppose
That is my
Rio,
point.
come on the show. When are you ready to come on the show, Rio?
And that is my point exactly. They're not moaning about what they get paid, and we don't care if they're falling out of clubs. If they're banging in hat tricks every week, it wouldn't matter what Rashford was doing. Yeah, you'd get certain people moaning, but we as football fans wouldn't care. You know, so none of them are going to give up their money. Bar Anthony, none of them have said they want to give up their money. So the club are going to have to be sensible and strategic in what they do, but they cannot. They cannot. I mean, it's Monday. It's Monday. None of them have been on international. They're all is everybody due back, or would players like Bruno maybe be due back a couple of days later because he had international. He played international games, didn't he?
Yeah.
Bruno, Dalot. I mean, they've got to be back. They've got to be back. Rashford's got to be back. If he doesn't turn up the first day, what's on strike, or has it been an arrangement that he doesn't come back?
Here's the thing, though, lads, and I am conscious that we are needing to talk about Evans before we do go, and the comments are flying, and please do, like, share, and subscribe, as Stephanie said. But we are getting on a plane in roughly 2 weeks' time for our first preseason game somewhere on continental Europe. I can't remember exactly where. We are losing the excuse of we need to wait for the end of the financial year to occur. But before we get on that plane, in order to be the best prepared that we can possibly be for a pre-season, obviously we need a Mbeumo's deal done. But do we need a central midfielder in as well before that takes place, or a striker?
Ideally, yeah, we do. We would like the deals to be happening, but this is what we're saying in the last segment about why it's not happening, who's to blame, and what's the process. Look, it's hard to get rid of these players, and like it's been clear, one in, one out. We're getting Mbeumo in, then we can start working on someone else to come in. And it doesn't mean when we're on tour playing 90 minutes that someone's not in the background trying to make these deals happen. I think it will happen, but it's just, I'm impressed. Let me say this. I'm impressed with the way we're moving. It's not like last season or the season before. We're starting to get show a bit more progress with the way we're making deals. We've got.
Do you think so, though? Yeah, but Quinny was.
There's an improvement. There's an improvement, Mr. B. There is. We have to be honest here.
Do you know what the improvement I would like? To be like Chelsea and Liverpool.
We're not there yet regarding.
Yeah, but why? But why aren't we there? Why do we know Man United's business and
like
nobody
Rio
knows
said,
Liverpool's business?
Because, like Rio said, we've got a bunch of players at our club on big wages that are hard to get rid of, and we can't get rid of them and attract new players to come in while they're still at the club. I'm seeing Ekitike deal. We were talking about him the other day. Could be coming to us. Now I'm seeing other clubs sniffing around.
This is the problem.
It's about timing. If we're not, we might have plans. We might say, right, in May, June, we sit down and say, right, we're going to do this schedule. We're going to this guy, and in that order. But it's not happened that way. It never happens that way unless you are, like you're saying, Chelsea or Liverpool. They're doing their deals properly because they can attract. They've got the money. They've got no issues. We used to be like that. But unfortunately, right now, we're in a mess, and I just have to accept that. So going away on pre-season very soon, I don't expect, to be honest, Rebel, to have us a midfielder or the striker that you're referring to.
I'm going to ask the chat question. You mentioned Chelsea. Bino Gittins, Delap, and João Pedro. Chat, out of the three of those, is there any of those that you would have been excited about if Manchester United signed them? Let us know, and we'll have a quick look after we talk about Johnny Evans.
Well, look, but to be fair, we would have we were in for Delap. Yeah. Gittins, I have no idea about. To be fair, I assume that's who they're going to go for instead of Sancho. But how much wingers do they have? How much? I mean, I know they've got 7 goalies, but how much wingers do they have?
I believe they have 14 players for the front 3 positions.
And they're looking to buy it, right. So Garnacho's not going Chelsea then? There's no way Garnacho can be going to Chelsea. So that's Premier League money finished. He priced himself out of a Napoli move. Yeah. And we want how much? 70? 70? Was that the quote that they said? 70 I bet we don't get 40 million for Garnacho.
We probably end up being loan FC, Mr. V. That's the realities of the situation.
But they shouldn't have to loan Garnacho, to be fair. to be fair, whatever money they get from him, they should just. I'm not saying, you know, obviously they've got a figure, but he cost us what, 500 grand.
Yeah.
You know, I understand you want to maximize your profit, but at the same time, if you want him out, you do what you did with Mason. You do what you did with all of the players that we've got rid of since Jim's come in. Put a big add-on on the end of it, big sell-on clause on the end of it. You know, let him go out there, prove his worth, and then, you know, in a year's time, 2 years' time, we've got a little windfall coming in. You know, we're not going to get 70 million for him, and I mean, who outside of the Premier League is going to spend 40 million? Everybody else, all the other countries are for us.
Yeah, good point.
But let's just have a brief chat about Johnny Evans. It was announced today that he's taken over a role to do with loans and placement and whatnot. Johnny Evans, obviously just a recently retired player. Is this a big role to be given to someone that's raw from retirement, that is stepping out of being a player and training for the first time in his career since he was probably about 13 years of age, and expected to kind of take over a portfolio which wasn't even in existence, I think, at Manchester United until the position was created for him?
Good. I'm glad they created a position for him. Mourinho wanted his own trophy for Scott McFackery's when he was here, so obviously he's doing a good job at the club. It sounds like he's a glorified liaison officer, maybe, but maybe that's what the club needs. You know what I mean? He was there under Fergie. He knows what it takes. He knows what's needed. And he's probably the last one, to be fair, from that era at the club. So if he's going to be the bridge between the old and the new, all right, it was a big gap that he was away. But when he came, he didn't let us down when he played. You know, he gave his all. So I have absolutely no problem with him taking up a role. Obviously, I'm going to assume he's probably on less money than he was as a player doing it, but he doesn't want to leave the club. You know, he loves the club. And the fact that it's somebody who loves the club and is not being forced to do the job, I think it's a great move.
Can I just put my name in the hat for Chief Training Cone Officer? I will take the role for 100k a year. And I honestly, Jim, come talk to me. I'll be delighted to come in and do a role for you.
Hey, you know, jokes aside, I mean, that's funny, but look, Johnny Evans, I've seen some comments saying, oh, God, we can't be doing this again. It's not right. We're not learning anything. They've been shrewd. They've dropped Alex Ferguson. They're dropping all these guys, Brian Robson, all these guys who have been in and around the club, that had roles at the club. They've dropped them. Even the dinner lady and the tea lady and the secretary, or whoever, you know. People are losing their jobs at Man United. So there's no sentiment for anyone. If he's qualified, and obviously they know about him because he's been around the club for the last couple of years, obviously doing something positive, then you've got to bring someone like that in. You can't let them leave and go somewhere elsewhere and part of the trade. I'm going to name two players. Michael Carrick went to Middlesbrough. I know he got sacked recently, but he did a good job there. And, you know, it's a shame for him to leave because I felt he could have had something positive about his character. And then you got the other guy, the Ipswich manager, Kieran McKenna, who is it Kieran McKenna? Is that his name? From Spurs?
Yeah.
Came from Spurs, and he left us as coach, went to Ipswich in the first division, got them up to the Championship, and then got them into the Premier League. Done really well, and he's highly sought after. Achieved a lot of things. So we've got rid of people before. I just think Johnny Evans. The question would be: we don't know much about him, but do you trust him? I think I do trust him. I've seen him talk. He's a legend of the club. He was there in the last league title-winning team. He's won the league with Leicester as well. He's performance-wise, that's okay. But what does me is that he's got history in the club. He's got brothers as well, who've played football for the club. There's something about him that is good will benefit us. You know, do you understand what I'm saying? For being a Manchester United player, Man United bleeds Man United. And if you can offer him a role, I think that's a good thing. I'm not here sitting there cussing about it. I think it's a good thing because I think they're very shrewd the way they're going about their business. you know. So I don't think they're bringing him as a buddy kind of thing, mates rates or anything like that. It's nothing to do with that. It's more to do with this guy's qualified. He talks well. He does a good job. We need to keep him around the club, and that's what they're doing. So I don't want to hear no argument to say that he's getting a bring in.
I'm going to have to step against you on this one, but familiarity does not breed success. Look at the Manchester United players that have retired in the last 2 decades, because obviously they're the players that would be in the kind of space of managerial and coaching positions at this juncture in their careers. How many of them have been successful at the top level in coaching?
But he's not a coach.
But hold on, how many of them have taken over successful scouting roles? How many of them have actually added value in a position that has given benefit to a club after they've retired? We're looking at a situation of a make-you-uppy job. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm all for having people go out and promote Manchester United, do book signings, and all the other crap that the corporate side of Manchester United expects. But you do not need to be making up jobs for players because you want to keep them around. Like, at the end of the day, we're a football club that is trying to manage our resources and our expenses, and we're making up jobs for ex-players to remain. Like,
sorry, Rebel, you talk about money. This is not our household where I have to keep budget and do my direct debits and everything else, or your household or Mr. B's household. You don't want Man United Football Club where you take £52. I mean, come on, man. It's not like that. And you talk about even Tom Cleverley, he's managing now Plymouth Argyle, got them up, and he's going to do well with them. I've mentioned Michael Carrick, done well as a manager. Did he though?
Did he do well as a manager?
With the resources they had at Middlesbrougugh, he'd done well for them for a couple of years. Until
Rooney hasn't done well.
I thought he'd done well. Anyone in the comments, did Michael Carrick do well at Middlesbrough? You know,
there's going to be a lot of no's. There's going to be a lot of no's.
And then we got Kieran McKenna as well, who's brought Ipswich up, left us, went to Ipswich in Division 1 and brought them up.
And then got him relegated. Did he get him relegated again?
Yeah, we look at the resources that he's got. But I'm just giving an example. There's 3 guys that have left Man United who've done pretty well. You know,
no, they haven't. No,
they haven't
done pretty well.
You're telling me, Michael Carrick with no money, no funds at Middlesbrough.
Middlesbrough got money. If he was doing half decent, Middlesbrough would have gave him money.
They're a huge club in the northeast. He hasn't got any resources, and he worked with them and got, brought a brand of football. But then obviously he couldn't maintain that because he didn't have the players. Simple as that. And then Kieran McKenna, you've seen what he's done. And then you watch Tom Cleverley at Plymouth, ex-Man United as well. He will do the business. But there you go. Look, I am Titanium said Carrick done well based on the resources, To be fair,
as long as you get double A's one up, yeah?
No, let's not read that one.
No, he kind of. To be fair, he said he kind of did well. He kind of did well. Ince, hold on. Ince?
Here,
Ince didn't do well.
The only ex-player in recent times that I actually remember actually doing any good when they went to manager, because we know Keano failed as the manager, Gary Neville failed as the manager. The majority of ex-players at Manchester United failed. The only one that was any way of a success is actually one of Bart's crowd, and that's Xabi Alonso. Like, Lampard failed as a manager. There's so many of that era of players.
Did Ollie fail as a manager?
Ollie's done all right in certain levels. Like, he's doing good in Turkey. He did well up in Molde. But in the Premier League, like, we probably did him a disservice. Let's be fair when we gave him the full-time job. Like, it was a lot to give to somebody whose CV was Molde.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, but just go, look, it's a tough thing. We're talking about Johnny Evans. I am happy that he's given a role at the club. Now, whether he's been spoon-fed and, brought in as one of the mates, I don't think that's true. I think he's qualified. He's there because he's qualified. They see the importance of having him around. So I think any decision they make is being a good decision. If you weigh it up it's only Dan Ashworth thing, which has been a bit of a disaster for them. Overall, they've made good decisions so far. And no matter what you say about it, look, let's weigh it up. How many bad decisions have they made, to be honest?
Enough, brother. They was feeding man sandwich.
Which decisions they made? The Dan Ashworth one, I agree. Brought him
They
in.
are feeding staff sandwiches.
We sacked staff to create a position for Evans, essentially.
No, we didn't. Get lost, Rebel. I'm not having that.
We
I'm not
are
having
after making the amount of culling that we've done to the non-playing wage bill
No,
over the last
that's not.
10 months.
I bet Evans is on 10 grand a week. I bet he's not even on that.
Michael Carrick, 46% win rate and spent 42 million on players, which is a big budget for the league that he was in.
See, there you go. He's trash.
No, I think Colin, we need to revise that. I don't
Thanks,
agree.
Cole.
I don't agree with that, Colin, with the 42 million or whatever. From what I understand, he was working with peanuts down there and struggling. And
42 million.
That's a lot of money. I'm surprised, but that's what
£1
I'm
worth
saying.
of peanuts.
We need to revise that information.
Gentlemen,
Anyway.
we have been going for about 50 minutes. We have been kind of throwing a little bit of Punch and Judy-esque type bombs at each other for the last 15 minutes of it. Is this new person double AA? Big up if we haven't seen you before.
It's not new double A. You know what it is? We can't work out who anybody is because YouTube have decided to do what they're doing. So the newer ones will work out. Double A's been here. Yeah, we'll work it out, guys. We'll work it out.
Just to shameless plug one last time before we go. We are on the road to 4K. There is 263 wonderful individuals watching the Man United agenda, something we're very much appreciating.
40 likes.
Please do hit that like button. But more importantly, if you want to be in with a chance to win a Manchester United jersey come the start of the season, get us to that 4K sub target, and then we will announce how we're going to basically get one of you to win that jersey. It might be just something as simple as all comments after a particular show will be included in a wheel spin. It could be that easy, but to get there, we need that 4K subs. Please do like, share, and subscribe. And I am going to give the final word to our lady from TikTok who's after coming over and joining us today. Michael Carrick ultimately failed at Middlesbrough FC because despite showing early promise and implementing an attractive style of play, his team lacked consistency of result. So that has been the last word. This has been the Man United agenda. I have been Rebel. They have been Mr. B and Yaba. Have a very good Monday night, and we'll see you all again tomorrow.
Adios.
Glory, glory, Man United.